Live from Boca Ice Center in Boca Raton, Florida, it is a College Hockey South Division scrimmage from the home rink of the Division III Owls, who will finish out their time with the Florida Gators right here on Owl TV. Hi, everybody. I'm Devin Serra with you, and a little bit of an odd scenario for this contest today. We were scheduled to have the final of two games this weekend between these two College Hockey South opponents, but unfortunately for Florida, they had some personnel issues, particularly in goal, as David Stenzel was not able to go for tonight's contest, who played yesterday and saved 31 of 38 in the 7-3 victory for the Owls. So because he's not able to go tonight, this game will not count, or rather it will, except it's a forfeit for the Gators and a scrimmage victory for Florida Atlantic that will count in the standings and improve them to 13-5-2-0 on the year and 11-2-0-0 in division play. But the bigger story for both sides was the fact that Florida guaranteed themselves a spot yesterday in the College Hockey South playoffs with a loss by Embry-Riddle to Florida State 5-2. Embry-Riddle playing their penultimate series of the season, as they'll take on this Division III squad in Boca next week for just one game. as they played earlier this year back on November 1st with the Owls, in which that game had a different outcome. So because of that, FAU is going to be getting the win and holding their spot at the top of the College Hockey South Division. And meanwhile, for the Gators, they'll just be able to use this as sort of a tune-up, which means that they will have in net a Florida Atlantic goaltender through Blake Valley out of Parkland, Florida. The 22-year-old veteran has been with FAU for a number of years, dating back to 2021. Back when they were part of the College Hockey Federation. Valley will get some time in the Gator net. To our right, to our left will be Matthew McMillan, who saved 29 on 32 yesterday in the Owls' 7-3 victory. Had a couple of good stops, especially near the end when the Gators were mounting a ton of pressure in the final 5 minutes. And so we'll tune this up, and away we go here from Boca for this scrimmage tonight. We will run 20 minutes on the clock, presumably a running clock. So despite all the whistles and stoppage, there will not be any sort of pauses in the action. And we'll continue this game quite swiftly, as both teams will kind of treat this as an inner scrimmage practice, if you would, in this scenario. Florida is without a considerable amount of their roster tonight, as this puck is played in the Florida Atlantic zone, carried over the line. First time by Sam Watson. Drops it off left wing circle. Pushes deeper. Bucci-Gross worked around his defender in the Gator end. Bounces off a skate blade and scores. Watson puts home the rebound as that puck kicked off the side of Tyler Stevens right into the wickets for a open goal, and squeaks it past the left pad of the FAU netminder Blake Valley. And for Valley, first shot, first goal allowed in this one. As we mentioned, running clock, so 18:22 to go. Official time of the goal, 1 minute and 15 seconds. So for both sides, they get a little bit of an opportunity to spread things out. And if we're looking at some sort of trend in this, FAU in back-to-back games has scored in the first minute. Yesterday it was Christian Cuccia at exactly the 1 minute mark. Now here come the Owls again. Peter Petito up left wing, stops, gets around his defender for a moment, and Hitchcock gives it back to the point where Strum is waiting for it. Here's Drew Renzi now at the top of the slot, and a glove save. Nice one by Blake Valley to slow down things, and face-off will be in the right wing zone in the Gators' end. And a lot of mix-ups between both lineups. Peter Petito notably didn't play yesterday, the Florida Atlantic forward out of Wisconsin, New York. 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points on the year for the Junior Islanders alumni. And Petito right there in the low slot area, just passed through his legs, comes to Bucci-Gross, who's putting it in a centering feed up for grabs. Still is. Shot rebounded from Jensen, and a 3-on-1 for the Gators the other way. Here's Tristan Junga up right wing. Centered it up, looking for Zarek Zelmansky, and it was too far away. Here come the Owls in transition on the rush. Petito has got Renzi behind him. Loses handle with the puck. Poke checked by Morton. He gets it back now at the half wall. Leaves the lane and cycled deeper by Bryce Malcolm, the defenseman, also a player that didn't see time yesterday. Carabello forwards it along for Carozzo. Carozzo at the right circle. Rebound up for grabs. Stick save and poked away by Valley on the rebound attempt. Renzi now in with it in tight in the slot. Still loose, and now it kicks to the right corner. Carozzo as Valley keeps it away from the left post. Rothamich lower for Renzi. Stolen away. Carried by Kelly Bartlett, who finished up the night unofficially losing his 4-game point streak, or rather what was a 4-game point streak, except he didn't play against USF last week, but had a hat trick against the Florida Tech Panthers, and that resulted in a very good result, which part of the reason Florida got locked into the College Hockey South playoffs with a 7-4 record in division play. Still up for grabs is the seeding, however, as Florida finds themselves in a stalemate of points now with Florida Tech in the 4th spot, and USF holding it down in the 5th spot. That's the only one that is still available. Florida Florida Tech 3 and 4. And it'll come down to the wire between USF, Embry-Riddle, and North Florida, who all have 12 games in hand. Only 2 left in division play. So, face-off comes to the left circle of FAU's end. Matthew McMillan in net to their right. Won by the Gators. Renton takes a shot, never got through. Bounce off the defender of an FAU player, and out they go to the center zone. Dumped in, a race after it by McGuigan. Renton caught there first. Poked it along for a winch. Had it stolen by Caraballo. McGuigan lost handle of it. Gave it back to Renton, who will retreat back to his own zone. Scoops the puck into his padding. Moriarty comes in to steal at the point. Looking to forward it along for Morton. Moriarty skates outside. Gives it up in the slot. A couple of passes, and it funnels in. Some nifty moves. Nice job getting to the front of the net by Caraballo. McGuigan. The goal scored by Codsey. Hudson Codsey out of Boca Raton. None of these goals, by the way, will count for the standings, but a little bit of a good mark in practice. Some moral victories there. Some good movement by the Owls in transition off the turnover by the Gators in their own end. Florida gets back to it. Dylan Morton from the point gives it back to his opposite Morton. Cuts hard to the net inside. Moriarty pokes it away. Gives it to the Owls, and we've got a stoppage of play. They will reset things. And it's going to be a tripping call on Florida Atlantic. The infraction by Danny McGuigan means that the Gators, who yesterday were stymied on 6 power plays yesterday, get an opportunity here. They were 1 for 7 in that game after they scored their opening man advantage from Quinn Hitchcock. And a highlight reel style goal midway through the first period. Beautiful shot from the slot. He actually lost his footing on the initial carry of the puck and then just blindly on 2 knees backhanded it to a sharp angle. It reached right over the blocker side of McMillan, who makes a nice pad stop there. Rebound, kicked in the slot. First man to it is an Owl, and it will be cleared out by Justin Gorelick. But McMillan didn't see where the initial shot came from yesterday on Hitchcock and just allowed him to make a SportsCenter top 10-like play. Impressive. It knotted the game up at 1 at the time, and that's where they went into the break. First period intermission. But after that, Florida Atlantic scored 3 unanswered and took control of things. Here come the Owls on a breakout steal made by Gorelick. Goes hard to the net. Backhand. Wrapped it in a sharp angle as Valley came way out to challenge him with the left post. Nice attempt there. Gorelick looking for the Watson. If you watch the NHL quite often, you might remember a certain Anaheim Duck forward making a nice play against the Buffalo Sabres a couple of years ago where he fluttered a saucer pass over the net to his opposing teammate in front of the goal. A little innocuous fun fact. I'll let you think about who that player is in a moment. But 15 to go in the minor penalty for tripping. Florida, though, not able to establish zone time. Once again, short-handed, the Owls are taking it to them. It's a nice move by Tristan Junga to box out his man, forwarded ahead. Here come the Gators all the way. Out center, Zelensky lost handle of it, stolen away by Bryce Malcolm. He'll button hook away from a defender out of his own trapezoid. Zelensky spin move trying to defend, gets around the defense up left wing. Malcolm carries it forward. Strings it along where it's Andonovski to chase it. Given up to Junga. They'll battle for it in that far corner with Rothamich coming in. Given back to the half board. Zelensky, nice steal. Creates a 2-on-1 advantage. He's got Bartlett down the middle. FAU trying to hurry back, and that one again saucered through the slot area like they tried earlier and didn't work out so well. Centarlis stepped up into Aaron Lentz and missed the hit. And Lentz gives him a stick tap, says sorry about that. Little inadvertent collision there. Good to see both those guys get up. FAU back into the attacking zone. Valley can't settle this puck down. Morton will just play it at the end boards. He goes D to D. Carried by Nico Renton. And Renton was a effective player yesterday for them. Didn't get on the board, but he certainly made his presence known. I think the big story for Florida yesterday was Kelly Bartlett and Owen Farrick adding a couple of points in that game. Neither one scored a goal. However, both had a couple of assists. Here's FAU at point blank save made by Valley as Rothamich teamed up with Renzi in the slot. And that will be another face-off to the right wing circle. FAU going to make some wholesale changes. Bring on Joseph Lozaritis. Lozaritis took a couple of penalties yesterday in the first and early second. Kind of put his team at the 8-ball position as Petito gets a nice feed from him. Puck's in the crease and they score. Lozaritis receives that from Petito and they team up to put their third goal in the net. Halfway through the first period with the running clock, 9:04 to go. Nice job by Lozaritis. We're just talking about out of Boylston, Massachusetts. 30 points on the year, 11 goals, 19 assists. And for a guy that didn't get on the board yesterday among a plethora of scoring, that's a nice one to get himself back in this inter scrimmage matchup here. Devin Serra with you. This game, once again, will not count, if you're just joining us, will not count towards the College Hockey South standings or the regular season standings in terms of the results of this ice time for both teams. As fortunately for UF, they were forced to forfeit after goaltender Drew Stenzo was not able to go tonight. And Florida, without a number of players in their lineup, means that they take the forfeit. FAU improved from the goal or game yesterday to 12-5-2-0. They now have 13 wins on the year, 11 in division play, with just one remaining in their season against Embry-Riddle here in Boca next week until they get a little bit of time off before the College Hockey South playoffs, March 21st through 23rd from Panthers Ice Den. You can catch that game those games on College Hockey South's YouTube channel, as the top 5 teams from each division will move on, and 4 of those spots have been locked up in the South Division. FAU still at the top out of Florida State, Florida there at 3rd, and Florida Tech. And those two, Florida and the Florida Tech Panthers, not at 14 points. The only spot still up for grabs is between USF, Embry-Riddle, and North Florida. So the Owls have it in their own trapezoid. They'll go D to D, play it up right wing, where a streaking Sam Watson receives it over the red line. Drops it off for Carozzo. He'll wait for his options, trying to center it up off a skate blade of Bartlett, who kicks it to his teammate. Up right wing come the Gators in transition, trying to cut inside the net. McMillan made the initial stop from the right post. Squirts free to the near corner. Carozzo had the puck nearly stolen away by Xavier Morris. Carozzo saucers it ahead. Takes a funky bounce off Pecora's right leg. And Watson will hook his opposite 15. Aiden Riley carries with it, the defenseman out of Manheim, Pennsylvania. Last point came on September 22nd in their 7-5 win against North Florida. And Riley said his name a lot. He was effective defensively, especially because if you look at the shot totals in that game, 38-32. UF, despite being outchanced in that game by a considerable amount, held their own for much of the second, besides the, well, I was going to say the second period. The first period, they obviously knotted the score at 1, but really the story of that game was how Florida Atlantic, as they have another chance in the attacking zone on the right side of the goal. Nice save by Valley. The rebound off the stick intended by McGuigan cuts to the half wall. Rothamich has it at the trapezoid. through the legs of McGuigan. Gets it back from Strum, helping out at the point. Gets it through Bartlett, defending that. Now Strum dangles around a couple of defenders. Skates wide. Gets around the defenseman Witch. Kotze and Hudson will battle forward in the corner. And the Gators get it out off a number of bounces. Zelensky, the lone Gator in there, gets tripped up. Carozzo has it up left wing with a head of steam. Carozzo gets around Renton, who poke checks him and finishes his check along the end boards. Cunero in for it, and Morton now will push it out to the center zone once more. Bryce Malcolm will retreat as FAU makes some more line changes. 4:55 to go in this first period in this inter-conference scrimmage. Wraparound try won't go. McMillan was ready for it at the left post, trying to stuff it. Was a player I don't have on my roster. Morton now. McGuigan tried to glove that down, and there's going to be a delayed, what would have been a high stick, but official waved it off. 4:22 to go. And keep that in mind, folks, as we go on in this game. There obviously will be penalties called, and right now UF is officially 0 for 1 in this game, but for the most part, they'll let a lot of stuff go and let these guys play on, especially with the running clock. It'll make for a quick night for both teams. Sort of a practice-style game. Here come the Gators the other way as Jane Rosenthal was looking to connect with Santarlis. The Owls turn it over at center. Renton will dipsy-doodle with Gorelick defending. Buccigross steals it, feeds it ahead for Gorelick once more. Lost it for just a moment, gets it back now. Looks at his options. Watson is ready at the left circle. Rosenthal made a nice defensive play, knocking that away. Comes free to the near corner where Lentz missed handle of it. Lentz through the middle. Stevens is there to race ahead up over the red line. All alone, Stevens, defended by Lentz. Stops, waits at the half wall, forwards it along for Morton, and for a moment it looked like it would be behind McMillan, and another quick move and save on the left pad off that chance in front. Now another tight shot from the point is stopped by McMillan. Oh yeah, a couple of times now McMillan's gotten busy. Good to see that. It's been mostly FAU controlling the pace of play. Aaron Lentz now carries upright wing into the attacking zone. Hitchcock rubs him off the puck in a hard way to the near corner. Watson is there. Stevens trying to fish it out. Hitchcock will keep it pinned up for a moment. Watson is in there. Lentz trying to scoop it. Still bounces around. Now it comes free. Florida couldn't get the clear as FAU's Jensen skates with it. Stevens gets knocked to the ice. Watson takes it over, and they're going to get a penalty on Lentz here. Looked like he caught the unknown player, number 96. That's Stephens, or rather 98. I thought I saw 96, regardless, for roughing. So we'll get a face-off in the FAU zone. With the running clock, they're just letting it go, but the penalty clock can't start until a power play clock can't start until they drop the puck. So most likely they will have this for the remainder of the period if they don't score. Moriarty off the face-off draw, banks it off the near glass. Hitchcock cycles it deeper. Plays tag with his opposing left winger and Cole Winch. Now Renton walks the point. Drives it for Zelensky. Banked it off the end board. Wide of goal. Hitchcock defended well, and a nice poke check by Petito to force him back to his own left wing circle. Heads it along for Zelensky. Leaves it for Renton, who'll go in. Renton through the middle of the ice. Gets through Moriarty. He'll cut around the outside. Hooks, waits for his option still. Now goes back to the point. The cycle continues. Up right wing. That shot flutters through the low slot area. It bounces to Renton, who's receiving it at the left wing circle. Renton now in the trapezoid. Defended by Petito. UF, minute gone in their power play, still without a shot. Now Zelensky takes a look to the net. That one blocked off an FAU defender in front. Junga has it. Tristan Junga waits. Gets around one defender. Now Moriarty's in there. Loses his footing, but he has help back defensively with Connor Strum, who will put it up to the center zone once more. FAU defending as the Gators reset in center. Hitchcock with the wraparound try. Great stop by McMillan with the right skate blade. Zelensky gets it back. An FAU player and Petito falls down. Renzi's able to reclaim it out of his own zone. And we haven't said McMillan's name, but that was another golden opportunity that he foiled on the wraparound try by Hitchcock, who scored the opening goal for UF yesterday. As time expires, Rosenthal's wrist shot stopped once more. And that's how we'll do it for this period. It looks like we'll take both teams back to the benches, give them a little bit of a rest. And because of the nature of this scrimmage, we will take a delayed break and both teams will just stay out here. No need to cut the ice or drag this out. The clock will start at 2 minutes and keep going with that. Some results, notably yesterday in college hockey South. South Carolina got the win over Tennessee narrowly 3-2. And why that's important, that's a college hockey South North Division matchup. And at the time, South Carolina had a 1-point advantage over Tennessee in the standings. Had Tennessee won that game, they would have flip-flopped with the Gamecocks for the lead in the North Division. But now South Carolina takes a stranglehold on the division with a 3-point advantage over Tennessee and most likely securing the #1 seed in the division. Kennesaw State sits back there at the 3rd spot, 16 points. Georgia with 14, Alabama with 13, and according to my sheet, the College Hockey South North Division is all locked up with those teams. So all we're worried about at this point is the seeding. And of course, we mentioned earlier, Embry-Riddle lost yesterday to Florida State 5-2, meaning Florida and Florida Tech are locked in the College Hockey South playoffs. USF, Embry-Riddle, and North Florida are fighting for the 5th and final spot. USF and Embry-Riddle tied at points with 8, and North Florida steadily creeps behind them with 6. Boy, the Embry-Riddle team is going to have a tough go of it next week when they take on this FAU team that is just looking to stay healthy, get ready for playoff time. It's been an up and down year for the Eagles as they have maxed a 3-7 record, 3-7-2. With these 2 overtime losses give them a point in division play. And what a job by this FAU team to kind of rebound now in what is officially their 4th straight win, the most they've had this season in a row, dating back to USF and Miami in the season opener, and then North Florida and Florida Tech when they won by double-digit leads in both games. This one, at least yesterday, was a little bit closer. Florida stuck with them for most of that game until the late second when FAU stretched it out to a 4-1 advantage heading to the break. But, of course, because this one won't count, both teams just get some ice time to hone their skills a little bit and play in their systems a little bit more. And you get to see some guys play together you usually don't. Likes of Bryce Malcolm, Peter Petito, Justin Lopes. And one guy gave me a little dap earlier walking by, Anthony Capena, not in the lineup, the captain for this Owl team. The junior had a nice goal, the final one yesterday, on a one-time blast from the high slot. And for Capena, he's talked a lot about getting this team settled in for playoff time. They've started goaltender Matthew McMillan in 4 straight. In goal now is Seth Fisher out of Arnold, Maryland, who's played 7 games this year, 4-3-0 record, 4.60, 0.841. But why that's important is come playoff time, they're most likely going to try and rely on Matthew McMillan, considering they've started him more games than Fisher. And despite having a rather difficult string of games, This one is scored by FAU in the attack. Nice job by Drew Renzi to stuff it short side on the goaltender opposite of our wing, Valley, who's now in net for Florida today. That being, I mentioned earlier, Blake Valley. He's been a veteran with the Owl program for a couple of years, but with McMillan getting the start yesterday, playing in 4 straight, a 3-0-1 record in that time. Of course, sweeps over Miami and now the Gators. They're trying to get as many of these guys ready for the gauntlet as they can, which is the College Hockey South playoffs. If they advance 3 straight days of action from the Panthers ice den, and then they'll have to, if they make nationals, ranked 13th nationally, top 12 go to the AAU National Tournament in Jacksonville this year. And the format is split with 6 teams receiving a auto bid for winning the conference. That's 6 winners in each conference, and then 6 at-large bids based on the rankings. So where FAU sits at 13, pending they don't move up a couple of spots from the results with UF this weekend, they'd be on the outside looking in and needing a win in the College Hockey South tournament to secure their spot. So nothing is guaranteed. And saying FAU in this Division III program make it to nationals, then Matthew McMillan might just have to play in a majority of those games. And if you win nationals, you're looking at a pool play scenario with 12 teams. You're going to play guaranteed 3 games, and then a semifinal and a final. That's 5 games in possibly 5 or 6 days. And that's no easy task for anyone, but that's what it takes to win a national championship in AAU. As FAU is back in the attacking zone, looking to put one on Valley's short side. And it's foiled by the Gators' defensive play made by Quinn Hitchcock. And it's sent down the length of the ice. This will be icing, waved off, and they'll let play go. And smart of the officials to do that again. Being an inter-conference scrimmage, no reason to stop play more than we need. And for the Gators, sitting 27th nationally, they were coming into the series needing some big results again against a top 15 team. Because of that now, they're probably looking at a must-win scenario, for sure a must-win scenario in the tournament, depending on where they shake out in the standings. Here's Bartlett scooping one from a sharp angle. Fisher can't glove it as a couple of players take a whack at it. Cole Winch was in there, but officials will give him the early whistle. And we'll get a face-off in the FAU zone to the right circle. Shout out to our fabulous camera crew tonight, sticking with us. We're glad you're with us here on Owl TV for what is the final game of this penultimate series. Well, really the final series for FAU, but the penultimate weekend as they'll play Embry-Riddle in the regular season finale next week. Ryan Weissman settles the puck down for Junga at the red line. Forwarded ahead by Winch. He fanned on the initial dump in. Zelensky to chase it. Jensen is there with Coniero. A body of FAU players take the puck wide. Now Winch with a nice centering feed to Zelensky. He missed the goal wide of the left post. Cycled deeper where it's met up by the blade of Winch and into the glove of Fisher with the glove. Florida gingerly changing lines tonight. They're with about 2 forward lines, and they had a majority defensive position team yesterday. A little bit bizarre to see with any hockey team, but especially one with the amount of wins that Florida does. You look on my score sheet, there's about 10 or 11 defensemen that I can count on my hand, and they only can have as many as 18 skaters on the ice, 4 forward lines. Well, technically 19 with the extra skater, but Florida yesterday only had 18 skaters, not including the goaltender. So they were running with 11 defensemen about and 7 or 8 forwards. So having to mix up some lines as there's a nice save by Fisher from the right circle chance. This UF group, it's a little bit difficult with their travel situation. Of course, out of Gainesville, but they play their games out of the Community First Igloo in Jacksonville. And that makes traveling to places like FAU, Miami, as there's a chance for Rosenthal in tight with it. I think Fisher got a piece with the right pad. It makes their travel as much as 3 or 4 hours just to go up and down the state. You don't always have your players available, as they don't tonight. Of course, Stenzel not in net for FAU, as there's a rip by Buccigross that was saved by Valley. Couldn't cover it up, though. The rebound squirts wide of the goal, intended by Sam Watson. Back to the point now. Malcolm takes a look and gobbled up Valley in his sweater. We'll get another face-off in the Gator zone, but for this UF group, they still have a lot to play for. Of course, they're not going to get the win in this game because of the forfeit situation, but they will take on Miami next week in their final regular season series. Of course, the Hurricanes having a bit of a down year, 2-7-0-1 in division play. They are all but knocked out of the standings, not technically out of it just yet. If they were to sweep Florida and have losses by USF, Embry-Riddle, and at least one by North Florida, they could find their way into the College Hockey South tournament in that 5th and final spot in the South Division, but a lot would need to happen in that case. Not a bad Florida team this is. They won some pretty good matchups this year against Embry-Riddle, sweeping the Eagles, also North Florida, and the Florida Tech Panthers in a string of narrow games to put themselves in this position. Here's Rosenthal, tries to cut inside. He's sandwiched by Malcolm and Lopes. Malcolm will carry it out of the zone, up center. Gorelick right wing, has Rothmich down the middle. Tries to stay on side, he will, but it's immediately stolen by Xavier Morris. Morris drops it to his D partner and Aiden Riley. Morris gets it back over to the slot. Whacked away by Buccigross. Morton has it back. Sent to the far corner. Malcolm will try to control it. Buccigross sidesteps his man. Stops on a dime, waits. He's got Stevens defending him. Using the body to keep him behind. Watson with Lentz. Nice saucer pass. They've got a near chance of the net. Lentz ripped it wide. Buccigross at the point. Moriarty comes back with it along with Carabello. The captain, Morris, ahead for Riley. A nice feed and an even better glove save by Seth Fisher. They were bearing down from the left wing in. Halfway through the second period of this scrimmage, time is rolling along, isn't it? We're now a half an hour into this contest, and it's 4-0 Owls. Not really keeping track of the scoring, but one of them for sure was Drew Renzi out of Frederick, Maryland. The sophomore has had a pretty good season so far. 25 points, 8 goals, 17 assists. And a guy that spent 8 games last year with the Division II squad gets an opportunity, like a lot of these players, to just get more so play a full season, right, and have their name on the roster sheet, and come playoff time, really step into a vital role, as Renzi has done a great job sort of quarterbacking their forecheck on that top line and the second line, along with Kuchia. And because of the success Renzi's had, it's made a lot of his teammates around him better, and he did a great job yesterday quarterbacking some of the power play. Now here's a steal by the Owls, up the ice, Lentz. Nice pass for Rothmich, drops it off to Sam Watson. Watson well defended by Morris. He'll skate it deeper. Give it go for Lentz, puts it to the middle. Watson tried to cut inside. He's defended once more. A chance for Lentz, and that one bounced off the shoulder pads of Valley and up into the netting. Just stop play for a moment. But here comes Renzi back on the ice with Lozeritis, who I've talked about making players better. This guy, freshman out of Boylston, Massachusetts, has come alive this year. 30 points for the Hudson High School alumni. And certainly you'd love to have some more depth to add to an already explosive Division II squad that has a plus 70 goal differential, plus 71 to be exact, on the season. That's top 3 in college hockey south and top 15 in the nation. Here come the Gators the other way. A slap shot sent wide by Winch. Off the deflection by Caraballo. Lozaritis scoops it ahead. Junga is there at the point to keep it in. Not anymore. Lozaritis stole it. A 3-on-1. Lozaritis looking for Renzi. Gives it back. Nice save by Valley at the left point. Or left post, rather. And now the Gators take it back the other way. Carried along by Tristan Junga. Now goes wide. Tried to put it through the legs of Strum, who foiled that attempt to center it up. Lozaritis lost handle. Renton at the point's ready. He'll cut it deeper with Bartlett. Waits for his options. Off the shoulder of Fisher, and he will swallow it after flailing around. Boy, that was an interesting shot. I don't think he meant to shoot it. He meant to saucer it to the opposite wing for Zelensky, and Fisher caught it with his paddle. It bounced between his right pad and blocker, and he had to sort of stuff it in his hip to keep that puck from entering the back of the net. A little bit of a wonky play, but it's moments like that, again, where we talk about how do you take something away from this scrimmage. Getting Seth Fisher some looks. There's a nice glove stop off of the soft wrister by Bartlett that may or may not have been deflected. You get an opportunity to just get a little bit better fundamentally, or your vision on both sides, as UF did a good job establishing some forecheck time on that scoring chance. Cole Winch gets pushed to the end board by Strum. Stolen away by Renzi. Renton gets to it, flails a half-board attempt through the slot, kicks to the opposite end where it's Lozaritis to settle things down. Stretch pass connects with Renzi, or at least it did, and he lost it under his wickets, so allowed Nico Renton, to steal the puck away. He'll send it the length of the ice where Jensen will reclaim it out of the Owls zone. Deflected by Zelensky through Morton's legs. Kelly Bartlett now skates with some room. He'll connect with Nico Renton. Forwarded ahead for Morton, number 12 Morton. Gives it up for Bartlett, gets around one defender. It's hard to the net, he scores! A couple of nice dangles by Kelly Bartlett. Stuffs it over the shoulder, top shelf on Fisher, and the Gators are on the board in this scrimmage. That was all set up by Nico Renton, who was able to head that puck along the defense of the Owls up left wing, and Bartlett took that puck over the blue line and skated hard to the net from the left wing, and it's a nice shot, a nice goal. Talked about missing time last week against USF. They desperately need his scoring ability entering next week against Miami and the postseason. But for now, it's a goal for UF. Here's another chance by Morton. That one's foiled by the glove of Fisher. Rothamich had to steal it away from Rosenthal. Helped out with Buccigross. Rothmich gets it back. He'll button hook out of his own zone. Gets around Rosenthal. Skates up left wing alone. Has to get it deeper. Valley, for a moment, kept that puck in its tracks. Tie up at the half boards. Caraballo trying to find it. Buccigross is the lone man in the corner. He'll push it to the end boards. A chance in front of the net, and they score. The feed from behind the goal put home by Nick Antonovsky. Out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the sophomore has himself a goal. Or rather, I'm sorry, that's Nicholas Pecora, Suwannee, Georgia native. The one-timer blast over the blocker side of Valley and net. Lake Valley's doing a good job, all things considered. 4 minutes to go in the second period. We roll along. Running clock, reminder. There will be very limited stoppages, and both sides will get about 2 minutes of rest time at the benches to sort of talk about their strategies if they have any, things they can do better. Malcolm banked it off the end board. Pecora is ready for it. Morris slammed to the boards. Riley cuts off the angle around Buccigross. Rothamich loose at the blue paint. Now Buccigross over the line with Carozzo up left wing. Gators send it back the length, and FAU makes some more changes with their lines. Malcolm wanted to pass it up to Caraballo, hit the boards instead. Rothamich Rather, Rosenthal heads it along for Morton, who loses handle of it. Gives it up to Carozzo. Has the teed up on the nice feed. Nearly backdoor, put home by Cunero. And now Carozzo has it back at the high slot. He thinks about a shot. Never got one through. Wanted to pass to Cunero, and he was stolen away by Stevens. Has Morris, the captain, down the middle, and a nice defensive play by Connor Moriarty. Length of the ice once again. Junga couldn't stop the puck as Valley sent it back up the half boards. Moriarty now at the red line. After that nice defensive play. Wait, for Moriarty, another young guy, freshman out of Brandon, Florida. Hasn't had the most active year offensively, but you wouldn't expect that from a pure defenseman. He was all over the ice yesterday, made a lot of nice plays to stymie the forecheck of a Gator group that really struggled on even strength. There's a nice chance in front for Zelensky, roofed it at the top of the goal. Carried out of center by Danny McWegan for Kotze. Kotze will give it up. His left wing side. Cunero fights with Junga for possession. Junga claims it. He'll scoot it along the boards. Zelensky in control for a moment. Carabello is there at the Boca Ice logo to circle his blue line. Give it up for Moriarty, still on the shift. Some extended shift time for Connor Moriarty. Moriarty looks up ice, finds Hudson Kotze ready at the left wing. Dump and chase he goes. Junga is there. Gets around Morton for a moment. Now stopped in his tracks. Taken away by the Gators. And they will control and carry out to the center ice. A nice pass off the boards. Morton cuts inside of the defense. And Carabello gets back defensively to cut that angle off and shut down the scoring chance. Zelensky, though, winds up from the top of the left circle. Off the chest protector of Moriarty. He will fight around with Strum. Right, that's Morton who takes it. Cunero frees up some space. For Carabello, Coral Springs native. A couple of nice defensive plays, and if you're FAU group, you're loving what you're seeing from this group that's just soundly taking away scoring chances, albeit not as physical as they could be in a normal game, but nonetheless, positive things to take away. Here's Hitchcock. Has it at the point, keeps it onside. Funneled for Bartlett. Cunero with a bouncing puck, helped out with Kotze. Him and Carabello will skate through center. McGuigan up right wing. Uses the boards. Owls get it back. Bumped off the puck in a rough way was Carabello by Zelensky. Receives it from Watson. 8 seconds to go in the period. Jensen takes a look. Shot on net, and Valley. The glove save and no rebound. And that will do it for 40 minutes. We'll get a 2-minute pause and keep things going. 5-1 the score after 20 minutes. And Seth Fisher, goaltender for FAU, taking some of the snow out of his own blue paint and roofing it over the protective glass and through the net onto the head and shoulders of Captain Anthony Campagna. Laughs about it after the fact. Campagna, of course, taking a rest with a couple of other Owls tonight to our right. And some funny banter going on there. And for a guy like Campagna, just such a good leader all around. So reflective of his time with Division II. Talked to me a lot about just the run that they had, how much belief they had and conviction last year about winning a national title. Of course, lost to Florida, the Division II Gators, in the national championship, who are now at the Division I level, playing against the Division III Gators. And he just talked a lot about accepting this role that Christian Long and Andrew Ugoda asked of him earlier this year about, hey, can you come and lead a young FAU Division III team in their inaugural year, sort of be a program establisher a bit, bring some success. And he's done that in a lot of ways. He's taken a lot of responsibility to get his program ready for nationals, or rather the College Hockey South tournament and a nationals run, which he told me point blank, we expect to be there. We think we can win the national championship with the group we've got, and they've certainly showed it with the explosiveness. if you had to say there's something that they need to work on the most heading into tournament time, is for sure the penalty minutes. They have the second most in College Hockey South this season with 230 penalty minutes. That's just one behind, forgetting the team exactly. Don't have it on my score sheet, but what I do know is that stat comes from the fact that they eclipsed 200 plus in their series against Miami. And for a team that is so talented like they have and the depth that they are able to score with, you can limit those penalties. Sky is really the limit for a team that could most probably consider be a top 10, maybe even top 5 team in the nation. Look out, McMillan's down once, twice, and the Gators think they've scored, and they have on the rebound. It's a nice job by Cole Winch to stick with the play. That puck bounced off the left pad of McMillan once, twice, and then 3 times. And Winch was just sticking with it in the slot. Nobody bumped him off the puck, and the Owls couldn't clear it out. Leads to their second goal of this one. It's 5-2 within the first minute of the third period. In this interconference scrimmage, Devin Serra with you from Boca Ice Center. Boy, the time is just flying by, isn't it? We've been here for about 40 minutes or so, and evidently FAU has, whether it's a scrimmage or a regular season game, brought the mustard. Scoring 5 goals in this game from 5 different scorers. A couple of them included Watson, Drew Renzi, Peter Petito. So a nice effort so far as we finish out this series. Weissman sent to the length of the ice. The Gators are trying to make some quick changes. Line changes. Connor Strum has it for the Owls. Stolen away. Taken over by Aiden Riley. Fights off 2 more Owls where it cuts to Renzi. He'll leave it for the Watson forward to go in. Watson takes a shot on net, and Valley flashing the leather. And Valley wearing the practice jersey, the Owls Hockey Club jersey in all black with the navy blue, red, and white pads. Sort of a odd look for a game anyway, but this being not considered technically a real hockey game. Pretty standard for a guy that hasn't seen ice time with Division III this year, but has been a solid part of the program of FAU for a number of years. Here's Stevens. Tries to get around Bucci-Gras. Stolen away, and the Owls come back the other for a moment the other way before it's given up to Tristan Junga. Junga forwards it off the penalty box doors to Bryce Malcolm. Malcolm will wait with it, retreat for his opposite defender, Bucci-Gras. Skies it up to center. Petito he connects with. Brings it up left wing. Lozaritis receives the feed, returns it. Drop pass for Renzi. Gets around Junga, straight to the trapezoid. Hitchcock is there trying to lift the stick. Renzi pinned up against the glass. Allows Zelensky to get after it. Malcolm gives it to Petito, who will take a little skate with it. Petito waits for his options through the grasp of Renzi, given up to Zelmansky. Been saying Zelensky, not the Prime Minister of Ukraine. Zelmansky takes a hard check into the end boards, and there's going to be a penalty assessed on the Owls for that. Or is it? They're going to call this on Zelmansky, right? Looked like the bang-bang hit at the end boards, just finishing a check, but they'll get Zelmansky for a cross-check that sends FAU to the power play. Both teams are 0 for 1 in their man advantages in this scrimmage as the time ticks off. 16:08 is what it says. Penalty clock, power play clock can't start until the drop of the puck by the linesman. And they're actually going to put both men in the box. I thought it was a bang-bang play, and what I mean by that is 2 guys going after the puck in the same amount of real estate and finishing the check. It's bang-bang, meaning they both hit the glass, obviously. So 4-on-4 time for what they call it was a cross-check on Zelmansky, but they're also going to sit Joseph Lozaritis. Here's some open ice for the Gators. Skating wide, Weissman gives it up to the point for Nico Renton. Weissman gets it back. Retrieves it in his sleeve. Drop it off. Rosenthal thinks about getting it deeper, and he will. Bryce Malcolm is first to the puck. Can't get it around Rosenthal. Renton now. Skates it from the point. A shot comes through, and McMillan made the right pad stop. Kick to the near corner. Forwarded along for Renton. And the Owls will skate with some open ice in the 4-on-4. It's Drew Renzi with Peter Petito. Gets around one defender. Goes hard to the net. Right pad stop by Valley. Renzi was looking for his second of the scrimmage. Nico Renton gives it up for Rosenthal. He will skate with it over the blue line. Now to right wing where Carabello takes a whack at it. Lost his stick for a moment. Gets it back. Worked off the puck by Morton. Now back for Rosenthal. As he cuts to the end boards. One to free it up in the middle. Drew Renzi is there, and he'll back it out to center. Got Pecora up the right wing, one of the also goal scorers in this, waiting. Gives it to Pecora on a wide open net, and he finishes it for his second goal. No chance for Valley on that one as he has to take the shooter. And potentially Renzi goes across, seeing that Valley was committed to the right side of the goal. And that's a nice tap in by Pecora for the 6th of the game. 14:04 to go in the scrimmage. Pecora with 2 in this one. Won't count for the standings, but 22 points on the year for the Sewanee, Georgia native. Sophomore, the alumni of the Atlanta Fire AA program. Couple of years there. Not too far of a drive, and possibly a team that FAU could see in the College Hockey South playoffs is Georgia, sitting there in the 4th spot in the North Division. And interesting enough is not related to the Division III side, but Division II was supposed to go on the road to Georgia for a weekend series there. The Bulldogs unfortunately had to cancel things. And for that Georgia program, pretty nice that they get a brand new arena with a minor league hockey team that I can't name at the moment, but go on Georgia socials. They have a beautiful minor league rink since about 2,000 people, and they'll call that home for a number of years. And it's great to see in the Deep South a lot of these club hockey programs starting to get some traction and establish themselves within organizational standards, within a locker room, getting the club sports or even the university involved and supporting them. And for this FAU team and this program, fans know, I mean, they have really done a great job funding this program. The Booster Club. There's a nice shot by Cunero on the feed from Carozzo, and he scores. Past the glove side. Valley thought he was ready for it. It squirts under his glove side, and good to see Cunero get on the board. The Glen Cove, New York junior, who was scratched from the lineup a couple of times this year, just 11 games on the season. Spent time with Farmingdale State a couple of years ago, and with some ice time tonight, it's on the board. And like I was saying, for this FAU program, for how well of a job the Booster Club's done, and then the organizational work led by Kendall Rickert on the operations side, they have really made a name for themselves, not only on campus, but in the attendance ranks, as FAU officially counted for the 3rd highest attendance among varsity and club sports, just behind Division I football and men's basketball. So here's a short side chance for Cole Winch, bearing down on McMillan, and he made the glove save on the short side of the left wing. Faceoff will come back to the FAU zone on this left side. And for this Florida program, coming off a national title, not this one, the Division II and now D1 side, could possibly start having conversations about getting their own rink as they play out of Jacksonville. That's quite the drive they have to make. They share a home rink with Florida State. Seminoles also have to make a pretty far trek from Tallahassee. 10:41 to go in this scrimmage. Florida head by Moriarty. Codsey is there. Watson stolen by Rosenthal. Gets it over the Boca Ice logo. Cole Winch will push it deeper, and back to retrieve it will be Sam Jensen. He'll go D-to-D, connect with McGuigan. Hudson Kotze gets it over the red line, drops it off for Watson, skates around Rosenthal, has help now with McGuigan. He'll drop it off in the right wing, centers it up through the legs of Centarlis, who put it just wide enough for Aiden Riley. Rosenthal falls down to the ice. Valley thinks there should be a penalty with his hand up. He won't get one. Rosenthal slowly gets back to his feet. Seems to be okay, just a little bit disappointed. Allows Centarlis to go skate with it. Puts it up opposite wing, falling on one knee. The give and go was Stiffens. Sam Jensen pressed to the boards. And the Owls are out. Kotze will carry with it. Dump and chase he goes, getting around Tristan Junga. From behind the net, banked it off the left post. In control is Watson. Forecheck for FAU can establish. Jensen is here with Junga, finishing the check in a hard way. Junga slams Watson a couple of times now. Once again, Watson takes him up 3 times. I don't know how much he's going to appreciate that. I think Watson just... Stevens is just keeping, or Junga rather, is just keeping him honest. Saying, hey, this might be a scrimmage, but still got to play. Buccigross. Onside, oh, look out, friendly fire. Kotze just ripped a one-timer right into the shoulder of Jake Buccigross. And he is really feeling that one. Oh my, that's a stinger. He's gonna skate back to the bench. And now they'll call the whistle as FAU was offside with Buccigross hurt. But that's a tough thing to see in a scrimmage. You never wanna face some self-inflicted wounds. I think the boys are just gonna laugh at him a little bit, but Hudson Kotze was just trying to tee one up, of course unintentionally, and Buccigross gets to a good position. Fortunately, he found that one in his hip. Yeah, I'll feel that one tomorrow. Face off at center. Still loose at the FAU blue line, now backhanded into the left corner. Xavier Morris banked off Bryce Malcolm's backside, wide of goal. Kicks to the end boards. Morton is there through the legs of Carabello. Gave it to Nico Renton. Renton double teamed in the near corner. It means that Rothamich is able to find some open ice. Rather, that's Nick Andonovsky. Forwards it ahead. Aaron Lentz out of the zone. FAU on the breakout. Here comes Caniero with a goal over the line. Trying to feed it for Andonovsky, just too far away. Carried by Morton, up but not out. Carabello stopped him in his tracks. Bounces to Ryan Weissman, who's ready for it over the blue line. Headed along for Morris. Malcolm nearly lost his footing. Lentz is there to help him out. Zelmansky and Morton lose handle of it. Caniero is there. He's going to control. Takes a slash into his right glove to no call. Zelmansky will skate wide with it off of the slash into the glove and will push it deeper. Out of the right corner now. Renton sidesteps McGuigan. They'll push it once more to the trapezoid. Zelmansky's there defending against Carabello. Carabello boxed him out, and the dump out by the Owls is successful with 6:45 to go in the scrimmage. Ryan Weissman will go in alone. Winds up from the top of the right circle. And a nice glove stop. Flashing the leather is McMillan. At least I believe that's McMillan. Actually, now that I look at this, fans, I think I'm a little bit wrong, and I am definitely wrong. I believe that's Seth Fisher. Yep. And I just now realized I've been calling him McMillan for a while. It's a little more relaxed up here in the booth tonight. Hope you are at home as well. 6:05 to go in the scrimmage. FAU with a commanding 7-2 lead in this one. Goals from 5 different Owls. Nicholas Pecora, most notably with 2 in this one. So here's Connor Moriarty. Tries to free up some space with FAU bearing down. He will forward it for Drew Renzi. Has a goal in this over his legs. Renzi tried to go spinorama, just playing around. And, of course, lost handle of the puck. Strum, Moriarty to restart the breakout. Dump and chase. Given up by Rosenthal. Icing waved off. He shot that over the red line. Skied in the air. Settled down by Strum. Strum takes the check. Gives it up. Nifty dangles by Renzi. Tries to get around the defense with Rosenthal. Renzi stops. Rosenthal steals. Didn't see the player who laid out Moriarty right there, or rather Lozeritis, but he sure paid the price. Peter Petito. Zelmansky finishes his check at the half wall. Gave it up for Morton. Kelly Bartlett now with some open ice and past Strum as we've got a penalty call. And Petito and Zelmansky got into it at their off half boards. Drew Renzi saying, "What the heck are you doing, Zelmansky?" He continued to pester Petito. I mentioned earlier he finished the check at the half boards. The play just strung along to the center ice, and Zelmansky is going to be sent off the ice, and I don't blame them for that. Of course, I was looking ahead of the play, but I could hear it as Petito smashed into the glass and was down for a couple of seconds. And Zelmansky is going to be sent off for the remainder of the scrimmage. 2 minutes on the board. I believe they'll get him for boarding here. So if the clock continues to tick down, they're just going to continue to settle this out. Of course, this game doesn't count, so if there were to be any sort of disqualification scenarios, I don't know if it would count towards anything in the future. It certainly shouldn't, unless it was very egregious. I don't think that was as egregious to warrant a disqualification, but regardless, because of the nature of the scrimmage, they will put the puck in front of the Gator blue line, and it is now 4-on-4 as they have Justin Lopes, his name on the board for FAU. I'm not sure why what Lopes has anything to do with this penalty that was assessed on Zelmansky. Regardless, it's 4-on-4. Here's Connor Moriarty. Gives it back. Rothamich winds up, and a nice save by Valley, which bounces all the way back to the center ice zone. Rothamich will skate with it. Goes opposite wing for Moriarty. Assesses his options. Look to get it to Sam Watson through his skate blade, and Junga is there. Pushed in by Watson. Help coming with Rosenthal. They fight for the puck. Junga comes up with it. He'll stop. Gets around Renzi. Renzi still pestering him at the half wall, and Junga has to retreat once again. We'll just look for the Florida forwards to spread out a little bit, give them some room to banana peel this out. Here's Aiden Riley, drops it off for Rosenthal. Turned it over, a breakout coming for Drew Renzi. Renzi with one man to beat, all alone to the net, and Valley made a nice stop, stuck with him with the left pad, and he will glove it down and force another face-off in his own zone. Renzi with a good opportunity on the steal from Aiden Riley. It's a couple of times now Renzi's had a breakaway in this scrimmage, but he's foiled again by the fill-in netminder for Florida. 3 FAU netminders got time in this scrimmage with 1:50 to go in the third period. Good to see all of that. McMillan the least amount of time as Seth Fisher in net for FAU will close out this game in the final 2 periods. No one's really keeping track of shots, but Blake Valley did a nice job, all things considered. And shout out to our stats guy Ryan in the penalty box, giving me the numbers. Here's the official goals that we've counted anyway for this scrimmage. Sam Watson, as you mentioned, the assist from Jake Buccigross. Hudson Kotze also with a goal, along with Joseph Lozeritis and Renzi, make up the scoring that we've tracked in this one. Of course, there's 3 others left off the board, but who's counting? Morton now loses his edge over the FAU right circle. Owls come back to the way with Justin Lopes. Skates wide. Puts it to the middle. Carozzo winds up and a nice gobble stop by Valley once again to tick off the final seconds. We'll get one more face-off draw before we call it good on this scrimmage matchup. Thanks for watching with us. These two teams get a little bit of an open practice time to get themselves settled. Florida finishes up their season against Miami next week, and FAU just one game against Embry-Riddle for the College Hockey South playoffs. There's one last shot attempt on Seth Fisher. Goes wide from Morton. 1 second left, and that'll be it. FAU matches their goal total from yesterday at 7. Goals from 5 different Owls. The ones we know of: Drew Renzi, Joseph Lozariadis, Nicholas Pecora, Sam Watson, and Hudson Kotze make up the scoring. On the Florida side of things, they had only a couple, but only 2 to be exact. But a nice effort. Good job by both these sides to make the best of a tough circumstance. But FAU with the forfeit or rather with the Florida forfeit and the win yesterday, improved to 13-5-2-0 on the year. 11-2-0-0 in division play. They hold the top spot in the College Hockey South division. Just 1 point ahead of Florida State, who got the victory against Embry-Riddle. And because of the loss by the Eagles to the Seminoles, Florida is locked into the College Hockey South playoffs. They hold the 3rd spot, tied in points, but with the tiebreaker over Florida Tech back there in 4th. USF, Embry-Riddle, North Florida, and Miami will fight it out next weekend to decide the final 5 teams from the South Division that get into the College Hockey South playoffs March 21st or February 21st through 23rd at the Panthers Ice Den in Coral Springs, Florida. So with that one, we'd like to thank you for watching this presentation of FAU hockey. Final score: the D3 Owls 7, Florida 2, as they take care of business in this interconference scrimmage. We'll see you next week as the Division II side of things will finish up their senior night against High Point University. And you can check their Twitter and Instagram at FAU Division II for updates, as they got the win yesterday against number 1 in the North Division, Middle Tennessee. And they'll close out that series tonight, looking to go 15 straight victories on the year. So that's it. 7-2 the final. Thanks for watching from Boca Ice, and have a wonderful night, everybody.